Hi, welcome to episode 3 of the Artist Interview series. My name is Jay Berry and I will be interviewing Mr. Boi King Koi today. So, Jai's been a very active member of the scene in the last 10-15 years, also owns his own studio called Diffuse Studios. I hope you enjoy the interview and I hope it gives you some great insights into what it means to actually DJ.
DJing for 10 years. I'm Jai, Boi King Koi, been under the same alias for 10 years, probably 11 years now. And yeah, I sort of play like tech house, mainly these days, house, that kind of stuff. But originally I did start out doing more party stuff, mashup stuff back in the day. Lots of like, back when Triple J was one of my favorite things to listen to, heaps of that sort of indie dance stuff as well back in the day. Breakbeat as well. I was a big breakbeat DJ for a while. So I've done heaps of genres, but these days house and tech house is really my jam. Yeah. I think it was one time when I went to Family Nightclub in Brisbane and saw Krafty Kuts play actually, and it just changed my whole perspective on dance music. It really opened my eyes to it because I'd always come from classical and live sort of bands music, and when I saw that, I thought it was incredible how the DJ could sort of they could pull you, like pull you back to the dance floor, and just when you thought you were ready to go and have a drink or sit down or something like that, they do at the time I didn't know what was going on, so they'd do something and that would just pull me straight back to the dance floor. So I was so intrigued with that, and I knew a few people who did DJ, so it just sort of started as fun. But yeah, I think it was that night when I sort of dance music just changed for me, in one evening. First gig for me was at the JCU Uni Club in Townsville. I literally just hit him up and said, "Hey, can I come and play a gig at the venue for free?" And yeah, I just wanted to play at that stage. And it's actually funny because I'm just going back now 10 years later and I'm about to headline there, next at Easter time. So it's funny, the 10-year sort of reunion almost for me. Make it more prominent. It's something that I try and do a little bit of something to do with music every day. I'm lucky I'm in the position now where I do have so many things I can do that are music related. So, I've got the podcast. I can go and write music. I can DJ. I can also, I've got a recording studio. So even sometimes it's working on building acoustic panels or playing with gear or learning. Learning, I think, is a big one. You can always learn, there's so many YouTube videos and things out there. You should be sort of learning new techniques and new musical knowledge almost every day. So, like the podcast idea came about 5-6 years ago. I just saw a post the other day. It was 6 years when I came up with it. And, I didn't do it back then. I don't know why, whether it was confidence or maybe I hadn't learnt enough or been in the industry. But the podcast, I just think it's so great to be able to sit down with people and have these conversations that you don't get to have with artists. It just helps to sort of, I sort of say it reveals the behind the scenes of music. So it's cool to maybe people or people you don't know, to learn about how they got to where they are. And often there's things you'll learn there that you can sort of take into your own, sort of what you do and things like that. When we both sort of started, there was no DJ lab, there was no a beer with, you had to figure it out yourself. So I think I would have loved to have, something like DJ lab or a beer with like podcast when I was starting, because I would have just binged the shit out of everything. So I think my favorite part of DJing would have to be, it's that instant feedback of, I suppose it's any performer really, when you do something cool.
Yeah.
People react instantly, you get that feedback while you're performing. So if you do some cool transition or breakdown or build or whatever it is, you get that instant feedback of the crowd and that instant sort of energy from the crowd, I suppose. I always say that like DJing is fun and production is work. And it's because you get that fun instant feedback when you're DJing. When you're producing, you're by yourself, you're in a studio, no one else is around. You do something cool, you make something cool, and then you're like, oh, that's cool. But no one else, no one else is there giving you that feedback of, yeah, that's really cool. I love that. That's awesome. So I think the energy of DJing and there's just something about that energy of when you DJ, just the crowd and that feedback from the crowd. I think most people who have played in front of a decent sized crowd would agree that there's not much that feels like that. When you do have the crowd, with all that energy and everything, there's not many other things that I've found that feel like that. So I think that's, for me anyway, it's that energy of the crowd, and seeing so many people enjoying themselves. Yeah, that's it for me, definitely. To build a brand. So I sort of had a discussion about this the other day, and I did a podcast on this, and it was like brand versus story. I think a brand is like the shiny, your logo, your press kit, your promo for events, all that kind of stuff. Your music as well. Story is a little bit more personal. It's a bit more of how you got to where you are. What you've been through, what's happened along the way. And I think a lot of those artists are starting to. Well, I know they've cottoned on to that. That it's such a big thing, and that's why podcasts are so big as well. Because you sit there and you feel like you're in the room talking to someone. Or you're at least listening. So yeah, to build your brand, look, you're going to have to go out and you're probably going to have to spend a little bit of money on things like, a press kit. So your logo, and a lot of people, you can tell a lot about an artist from their logo. Like, is it fun and bubbly, or is it serious and dark? And then you can also then work that into your socials and the way you do posts. Can be to do with wording. It can be so many different things. But to me, like I said, building your brand is something that you can do at all stages. And I think story, they say brand brings people to you, story makes them fans. Now, this is interesting because I used to love dancing before I was a DJ. Maybe like hip hop and R&B in clubs and stuff. Like, just, like, I couldn't dance, but I like to think I could. But since I started DJing, it sort of wrecked dancing for me, because when you dance behind the decks, everything's got to be upper body, because no one sees like your lower body in most booths. So, and no one talks about this either. No one talks about this. So when I'm out dancing now, like in a club or something, I don't know what to do with the bottom half of my body. Bottom half of my body's got no rhythm anymore.